Our kids are also allowed to choose how they feel about one another, whether or not they wish for a sibling relationship or something else. It's not up for my husband and I to decide. Back to present time. I still regularly take my kids out twice a month for an adventure with the three of us. This could be going out to dinner, a movie, the zoo, etc. I also take Elizabeth with me for some things, such as getting our nails done, shopping, volunteering. Sometimes my kids will come along as well. My husband and I are still responsible for our own kids. The issue is, I am far more active in my kids' lives than my husband is. I regularly celebrate my children, go to all their events, keep on top of their grades. I know where my kids are. I listen to their concerns, and speak about their lives. My husband doesn't do those things for my stepdaughter. My husband came to me yesterday and said we needed to talk about how Sarah and Aiden, mostly Sarah, treat Elizabeth. He pointed out several instances of exclusionary behavior, such as Sarah driving Aiden around but not Elizabeth, Sarah and Aiden deciding to have the 2 bedrooms across the house from Sarah, Sarah not inviting Elizabeth on her birthday trip to Cedar Point despite them having the same friend group, Sarah spending money buying Aiden gifts but not Elizabeth, Aiden refusing to allow Elizabeth to use his technology, Sarah and Aiden only doing things Elizabeth doesn't enjoy while at home or stopping when Elizabeth wants to join, Aiden refusing to cook for Elizabeth, Sarah buying all 3 of them locks for their bedroom doors, which my husband claims was only to make it look like Sarah did something nice for Elizabeth. My husband claimed that I was the cause of this problem by setting the example of excluding Elizabeth with the promise I made to my kids. He demands that I stop the practice and start to treat Elizabeth like my own kid. I said no, as that is not part of our agreement. Elizabeth isn't the one asking me. He isn't willing to step up and act as a father to my kids, and my children come first. I will always make them feel valued. I'm the only one who ever plans anything for the kids. Since we've bought a house together, he has only planned birthday parties for Elizabeth, nothing else. He doesn't plan family trips, dinners, celebratory events, none of that. I know he won't put in any effort for my kids as he barely does for his own. When I brought this up to him in the past, he said it's not my problem and reminds me of our agreement. Update. I spoke with all 3 kids last night separately and told them all to write a list of things they want to address in today's family meeting. I found out a lot that absolutely shocked me when I spoke privately. For the family meeting, we all sat down in the living room. I asked Elizabeth to speak first, since she is the one who is upset and without explanation for her behavior. Elizabeth's list: movie nights upstairs without her, refusing to drive her to school/leaving without her. Sarah, refusing to invite her to hang out with their friends or lying about where she was going. Sarah, having a group chat without her, refusing to even attempt a sibling relationship with her, putting locks on their doors and using the bathroom to be able to visit each other/hang out and gaming without her. Elizabeth said she felt as if they hated her and wanted her gone. She said she is just as worthy of a parent as Sarah and Aiden were, and how it's unfair that we get to be a family and she doesn't have one. Sarah asked if she honestly felt she is any less of a family than she and Aiden do. Elizabeth was going to say something else, but my husband stepped in and asked Sarah to read her list. Though Sarah told me last night about what Elizabeth had been doing, I didn't expect how bluntly she would bring it up. Sarah's list: breaking into their bedrooms and stealing their stuff/food, insisting on sharing clothes, insisting on a sibling relationship when already declined by both, following her around school and forcing herself into Sarah's friend group despite being told multiple times to leave them alone, threatening to go to teachers/me and hubby if they didn't, stealing and then ruining Sarah's makeup, telling my kids they should be happy their father died because now they have her dad and a sister, making inappropriate comments towards anime characters out loud while watching together, insisting Aiden has a crush on her, getting handset with Aiden and then getting defensive when Sarah intervenes/calls her out for doing so, purchasing 2 fun items and giving one to Sarah after she confessed to a crush on TV, throwing a fit whenever she loses in a game or any form of competition, refuses to study/spend time on school and then complaining when she doesn't get good grades, expecting me to step up and do everything for her, even though I do not do those things for even my own kids, instead of her father, constantly being late getting ready for school and then being upset they don't wait for her, flirting with Sarah's boyfriend at the time because sisters share everything, refusing to get a job or do anything worthwhile while being jealous of both kids' accomplishments. When she was done, I asked Aiden if Elizabeth was really trying to touch him. He didn't answer at first, but after a moment said yes. Elizabeth denied it immediately, but Sarah shut her down and said she wasn't finished speaking. Sarah told Elizabeth that she was a disgusting human being, that she thinks she can get away with anything she wants but she can't. None of their friends like her and wouldn't be around her if Elizabeth didn't make them, that she was spoiled and entitled, that if she ever tried to do anything with her brother, Sarah and everyone else would make her life living hell. I stopped Sarah there, as I don't tolerate threats of violence. Elizabeth said it's not fair, that she and Sarah have similar interests, and that she's only treated worse because she's ugly and Sarah isn't. When you do it, it's cool. When I do it, it's trashy and weird. Sarah argued back, saying it doesn't have anything to do with her looks, she's just a bad person. Elizabeth brought up how Sarah is the bad one, purposefully excluding her, spending time with me separately, refusing to acknowledge her in the house she lives in, refusing to accept her and her father as family, that they both lost a parent. Sarah, my dad is dead. He's never coming back. Your mom is in jail. You speak with her daily, see her every week. It's not the same at all. Elizabeth, it is the same. I share my dad. You're just bitching that you have to share your mom now. Sarah, At least my dad didn't choose to leave me. Your mom had a choice and I can see why she chose it. Elizabeth slapped Sarah. Aiden punched Elizabeth. Husband shoved Aiden into a mirror hung on the wall. I started screaming at my husband to keep his hands off of my children while telling my kids to go pack a bag. Kids ran off. Elizabeth followed them. Husband and I were screaming at each other. I could hear Elizabeth pounding on their doors and crying. After a lot of yelling, my husband slapped me. Then Sarah started screaming at Elizabeth and the girls disappeared. I found them in my bedroom fighting because Sarah was packing a bag for me. I told Sarah to go wait in the car while I pack. She hesitantly obeyed. I packed my bag while husband and Elizabeth were screaming at me, then left. Sarah was on the curb in the driver's seat, so I let her drive away and then told her to switch with me. My son had to be taken to the hospital as the mirror had cut him. Aiden needed 17 stitches and has a concussion. I am pressing charges against my husband and filing for separation and divorce immediately. I spoke to Sarah and asked why she didn't bring any of this up previously. She told me that Elizabeth only started acting like that after husband had already proposed, and both she and Aiden wanted me to be happy, because they'd seen how depressed I was after my late husband died. This obviously broke my heart. I told her that they are my happiness. Sarah argued and said that since I'd made so many sacrifices, it's only fair that they did too. I promised her that she never needs to sacrifice anything for me, as I am their mother. Sarah started crying, apologizing and just saying how she never meant for me to lose another husband and that she never would have let Aiden get hurt. I kept reassuring her the whole ride to our hotel. My kids are asleep now. I'm scared. Neither husband nor Elizabeth has contacted me. I'm not sure if I want them to.